everybody, and welcome back to another exciting. Because I really enjoyed this one we're watching of the Maneaters series. Please welcome my guest, Liz Fletcher. How you doing, Liz?
I'm good, Jonathan. Thanks for having me.
I am really excited. So you've been in a part of a bunch of these shows, like a bunch of these review shows that I've done, and we were just talking right before the before this that you actually really enjoyed this one, like compared
I
to
did.
a lot of them are brutally bad, and this wasn't the greatest. This had some
Well,
pretty
it's
bad
not an
moments to it.
Oscar winner, but it was good. The storyline was good. I thought the acting was great.
Oh, the acting was fantastic. And we'll talk about that. We'll dive deep into that, I think, because I really was impressed. But as far as story goes, it was your typical, creature emerges and then starts killing people one by one. Eventually, the people find out about it and they form a team of people to kind of try to take down the creature, and then they take down the creature. Spoilers, but you know, they have to,
Don't,
like, I knew that was gonna happen, you know?
yeah, and don't get attached to any one character,
Oh,
which was sad.
Were you attached to a couple of them?
I was attached to a lot of them. I thought the acting was great, and I really um I really kind of was devastated when a few of them didn't make it.
Well, what's great about it is it takes place in a small Alaskan town, which looks very much like Ontario, Canada. Right. But it was
That's
funny.
weird.
No, it's funny because, like, we just reviewed Yeti, and Paul and I did, and Yeti was supposed to take place in the Himalayas, but did not look like the Himalayas. And then we found out, I think it was like Vancouver or one of them. Like,
Everything is done up there.
yeah, well, all of Sci-Fi Channel was done back then, was done in Canada. It's just cheaper, I think, to film, and they have better rates or whatever. They still
Tax
film
breaks.
what?
Tax breaks.
Hmm. And they still film a ton of like CW shows out in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think for a while it was tough for them to film because of COVID. But because Canada was doing very well with not getting like the COVID breakout, like we had. So they were like, stay in your country, you know, we don't want it. Um, but this was made in, I think, 2009, which makes it one of like the newer movies of all the ones, like, because most of the ones I've done so far have been like 2007 and
Mm-hmm.
2008. So this is like 2009, I believe. And it was, honestly, I was very surprised because it just looked cheesy, the cover, and uh I was like, a dragon movie, like, I don't know how this is gonna, like, Alaska dragon movie, I don't know how this is gonna really work out. And it really worked out, I guess. The Wyvern is a real mythical creature that
Mm-hmm.
existed, that people know about or whatever. They kept talking about another one, like a toad or something. Did you
Oh
hear that?
yeah, I
um
did catch that. I have no idea what that is.
I was like, are they setting up for another, potential thing, like a giant cockatoad or whatever it was? Um, but no, they set up this, so they were really excited because it was this flying dragon thing, and it was, I mean, and the best thing about it was a small town, right? Like, pretty small town. It's supposed to be like, somebody compared
307 people,
three population. I don't remember hearing that.
which it was on the sign in the beginning, which I
Right.
think the opening sequences, there were so many people in town. I feel like it was half the population that came out for filming that day.
I don't think it really, I'm pretty sure when they filmed in whatever, they filmed, it wasn't really like the population of whatever town they were in. I think that was made up to sound like, because it was a small town, 301, you said, it's crazy. That's insane. Um, but yeah, so there's a small town, and you kind of figure that out because, like, I guess everybody goes to that one cafe.
Mhm.
Which I was laughing though when they were ringing the bell, and that's where people, they didn't have like a town hall. They couldn't afford like a town hall where everybody could meet. They had to meet at the
Yeah.
cafe. I mean, it was a little silly to me, but everybody like knew to meet at that cafe. And not everybody did though. Only like, I guess, certain people that were needed to be there, you know. A lot of them were dragon fodder, a lot of them were people that were going to die
Mhm.
from the dragon. But yeah, I kind of wish I got to see it with you, because I guarantee you would have had a different experiences than because I did not feel attached to many of the characters. In fact,
Really?
I didn't. I mean, I thought the acting was great. No, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't feel like I
That's a
wasn't like,
personal problem of mine. I get too attached to people too easily.
even like just characters in movies.
Anyways, yeah,
So it goes
need
from
to
your real
stop.
life into your fictional, like, into the fictional worlds.
It's a problem, Jonathan.
Well, that's good. That's good. That means you're human, and maybe I'm not. I don't know. Um, but I just I don't know. The problem I had with a lot of the characters where they were, I mean, the actors did a great job. Don't get me wrong, and they made three-dimensional characters. It's just,
Yeah.
like, I didn't really get to spend so much time with anybody, but you only got to really spend time with the main guy and the main girl, Claire, who I absolutely adored her. Um, but she is not making any money at her restaurant because she's just giving everything for
Giving
free.
food away to everybody.
I know. She's like, if you want a hot, you have to pay. And I'm like, what? Why are you giving everybody free food? Like, it's just so weird. I didn't understand. Like, I can understand you giving free food or free coffee or whatever, free food and coffee to the guy who's doing your steps for free.
Hmm.
Like, that's okay. But then the crazy lady who's like talking to whatever it was she was talking to, couldn't
Her
even,
best friend who died a year ago.
yeah, like her, I guess, the ghost of her best friend. That's a whole nother movie potentially. And then there's the other guy that plays checkers by himself, and
Yeah.
both of them were
Harley.
right. Yeah. Um,
I don't know how I remembered everybody's. See, I was attached. I
you
remembered
were,
everybody's names.
and you cared about them, and you were sad when some of them died. Which
There's something
um,
wrong with me.
who I really liked. So there's an actor that was in Vipers, which was one of the other ones we did on Maneaters. His name's Don S. Davis. You might know him if have you ever seen the show Twin Peaks?
No, but he was in the X-Files. He played Scully's dad.
Oh, that makes sense.
So that's how I recognized him.
Okay, okay, because he that would make sense. I never got into the X Files yet. That's something I've been wanting to like dive into. It's just and Paul always gets on me about that. But yeah, he was fantastic in Donna Davis was fantastic uh in this. He was fantastic in Twin Peaks. He was and he was also in Vipers, where I was like, hey, I know that guy. Where do I know him from? And I was like, that's right, Twin Peaks. Because my former roommate got me into Twin Peaks. She was really big into Twin Peaks, and she was telling me, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it. She kept quoting it, kept talking about it, and I was just like, okay. And she was like, you'll love it. And I watched it and I was like, this is such a weird, strange show. I think you'd like it. I think you would. It's just a really strange show. But it's a lot of fun. And Don did a great job. What was his name in this? He was like the Colonel or something.
Hmm.
Um, Colonel Travis Sherman. he was fantastic. I loved him.
Yeah, he was
Um,
great.
and he thankfully he survived. I do believe that he was, because he was the last one to talked to him before he went out to go kill the dragon. Which, by the way, we have to talk about that real quick before I forget. That ending, like with him, like the way that he killed the dragon.
He had everything planned on that dragon getting his head stuck.
I know, like he was so lucky because that dragon might not have done that, or whatever. That dragon so when I found out about a wyvern, and I don't remember them saying this, but maybe they did. But I remember hearing about a wyvern's basically a dragon that doesn't breathe fire, like a non-fire breathing dragon. Because I was the whole time I was like, why doesn't this dragon just go? And I was like,
I know, that's what I was expecting too.
And then I was like, oh, okay, maybe they just don't have the budget. And no, they picked a wyvern probably because they didn't have the budget to do a real good looking fire for it. They probably picked a wyvern because it doesn't breathe fire, because it's just one of those, which, I mean, I was like thinking, what is this thing gonna do? Like if he can't breathe fire or whatever and just kill people like that, is he just gonna eat people or whatnot? And I mean,
bite people's arms off.
I hate to say it though,
which I have an issue with that part too.
Oh, you didn't like it biting the guy's arm off and then putting it somewhere else?
So I just, it was a little bit of a stretch for me because if you lose your arm, if you don't get a tourniquet on it right away, and even if you do, your chances of survival are next to nothing because you're going to bleed out pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he was in this dragon's nest for God knows how long, and all of a sudden he wakes up and uses his tie as a tourniquet, the whole time I'm thinking, how is he alive right now?
It was bullshit.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the nurse in you that's just like, fuck this. I can't actually take this seriously, or whatever. Maybe they need people in the medical, field to actually tell them that's wrong when they write the script.
Somebody did contact me on LinkedIn recently and asked me if I'd be interested in consulting for them. I haven't heard anything back, but
that's actually good. I mean, people should do that.
They need that for movies.
I knew a guy once that worked on Transformers, and he was a military guy, and he was there as a background mainly, but he was asked to also be, and he actually told Michael Bay, he told I guess he told the first AD, like, you can't do that. That's not the way that the military actually does things. And Michael Bay overheard the discussion, them talking, and he goes, "What was that?" And he's like, we can't. Oh, that's okay. Good. Let's not do that then. And they did it like something else or whatever, like more what the military would do. And when I heard that, I was like, see, I mean, if more people, they would have more people like that. I adore that. Paul will get on me about the police procedures and my stuff or whatever when I write that. So I don't know. It's a lot of research and a lot of stuff that sometimes you just maybe something slips through the crack and you think and it'll be fine. No, nobody will notice. No, people notice, like you. So just know that if somebody rips off their arm, they're gonna die. There's no way they can just tourniquet it up and
with a tie, no less.
Probably just drove you nuts.
But then I figured they had a purpose for him surviving because he had to tell everybody else about the dragon eggs.
Exactly. So there was a purpose, but
they could have done something different, like just had him horribly just injured in some kind of way that he could at least survive it and be believable.
Right. Well, they could have had him like still be alive and telling the story, like he got picked up and just his arm didn't get ripped off. Because the only reason they use the arm thing is and that annoyed me too. Is when
Susie walked into the cafe with the arm?
No. That annoyed me too, but because I'm like she's the dumbest deputy in the world, and
She is.
but the funniest thing about that is she was the chick from Northern Exposure. So that was like their Northern Exposure reference and everything. So she was on the show Northern Exposure, which took place in Alaska. So this was supposed to be Northern Exposure meets Dragons, or whatever. But no, the part where they find the arm for the first time, and the sheriff did not look concerned whatsoever. Or not sheriff, chief. If a chief found an arm on the ground, I think he would be freaking out a little bit more than, especially in a small town where like nothing like this happens. Like this is the first time something like this happens. They'd be freaking out a little bit more. I was like, if I were a director of that, I would have told them, hey, and Stephen R. Monroe directed this, and he's actually one of my favorite, like, sort of indie guys gone bigger, we actually did one of his movies for Indie Film Cafe last year called It Waits, and it was great. And so this was a fantastic movie to watch. And I think he also did another Maneaters, if I'm correct, that we might have already done. He's just really good at just directing. Now he does like Lifetime movies and stuff, which seems to be where you end up if you are directing horror, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, he was fantastic director and did a great job. It was, what did you think of the directing?
I thought he did a good job.
Yeah. Really, as far as like the look or the feel, it feels just like every other sci-fi movie, like it doesn't have any specific shots or anything different that looks
right.
You know what I mean? The acting was great, so like at least he was able to get really good actors. Aside from what I just said about the guy not being, not knowing or not freaking out when he sees an arm.
So when he saw the bodies in the barn, though, he did puke.
Right. It's true.
But he just didn't get as excited about the hand.
It's not. His hand just didn't bother him. I don't know. I don't know what the difference was as far as that goes. I think if I saw an arm, I don't think I'd puke, but I'd probably be a little freaked out, Like say I was like walking down in my woods and I just saw like literally somebody's arm, or whatever. I'd be a little freaked out, like probably running back.
You'd show a little concern.
Yeah, so I was very surprised that like that kind of made me laugh when he just like walked up and he was like, "There's an arm, Hey, can we get some backup over here?" I'm like,
yeah.
Dude, but the movie itself, I think, and you said you got really connected with the characters and stuff.
You got to keep bringing that up.
I do, because I really want to dive into that. Who was your favorite character? That wasn't like the main characters or whatever.
So I really liked Susie. She was kind of a dummy, but she just seemed like a real person, like somebody that you would know in real life. I liked how they brought personal stories to each of the minor characters. And I think that's what got me too, was, I know the history of some of these characters, and therefore it makes me care about them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, was it Edna?
Oh yeah, the old lady.
Yeah, the old lady who had breakfast with her dead best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her.
Who later on, wasn't she like, she was tasked with because she was all by herself, and
Yeah.
I was so disappointed because like they have that one bit where they said, we're gonna have to leave you here alone. Make sure you call, keep calling, whatever, checking that stuff. And she was like, "Oh, you should leave me a gun just in case, right?" I was like, "Oh yeah, she's gonna get some. She's gonna get some little gun action going, or whatever." Because I thought that's where they were gonna go with it, was where they took off or whatever to go find this thing. The thing was gonna come back to that area and start like attacking the thing and trying to kill Edna. Lucky for you, because you were connected to her, that she survived, or whatever, plus,
But Haas didn't, unfortunately. I liked
yeah,
him too. The crazy
Haas,
guy.
yeah, well, I don't think he was
He
crazy.
wasn't crazy. That's just how everybody perceived him.
I know it, and that was the point, like, because he was the first one to see like something,
Hmm.
he saw moose fall, like it was raining moose at that
That
particular
was the
second.
Colonel. The
The colonel, I
Colonel
swear to God, it was.
the Colonel had the moose dropped in his hot tub. Haas was
Oh,
out in the woods with a
okay.
gun.
I swear to God, I got them mixed up at one point, because I thought Haas found the moose first, and that's why he went
He
into the
found
woods.
he found the dragon shit.
Okay. 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 God. All right.
And he was
'Cause
like, that's not a moose.
for like an hour and a half movie, there was a lot that happened. Like
Yeah, you're
I'm gonna
right.
give it credit for that. Like it was not like it was not one of those movies where they're like held up in one location for like half the movie, or like, or more than half the movie. You know what I mean? Like it was like they were out everywhere. There was things
Hmm.
going on. There were the dragon was, the only other thing I could like, sort of, not, now that I'm like thinking about it, and maybe I shouldn't give it a lot of thought, because this is not one of those movies that, needs that. But there's a flying dragon, right? Going over people's heads. It's not like you can, that the dragon can, especially in a small town, it's not like the dragon can just, you know what I mean? Like be hidden, like you would think that
Yeah.
the dragon would show up, people would see it more before they started freaking, like.
See, Jonathan, this dragon was extremely smart, though. He made sure he targeted all of their communication outlets.
Yeah, because the dragon that's
So he
been
was.
buried for like centuries or whatever, and finally, comes to, which I thought was honestly, I was very disappointed in the beginning, because like it did not really, like, it was just like, okay, there's like, I don't know, waves, tidal waves, whatever.
Oh,
It,
with the fisherman?
yeah, there wasn't a lot, like, there wasn't enough where
There
I
wasn't
thought,
any buildup. It's just
yeah,
like, oh, he cut his thumb. Oh, there's the dragon.
yeah, exactly. And I just
Yeah.
was kind of disappointed that it was like that quick, that it wasn't like, usually those take about 5-10 minute setups,
Hmm.
to kind of explain where this came from or whatever. And really they just did in like 5 seconds,
Right.
and I'm just like, this is sort of like, I mean, and then they're supposed to make up something real quick so that that explains that, and I get it, because time slash money slash whatever, the budget, there's not going to be a lot, to do with that. So I don't know. It was one of those things where I was just like, I wish that there was, a little bit more of a thing where we saw maybe something melt somebody, something melt
Hmm.
something, and then it just like we saw the thing come out, but really it just it happened so quickly, like I almost, you blink and you miss something kind of thing, and I don't know. So let's see what else. I honestly, all in all, I enjoyed it, as far as, one of these Maneater series goes. I know you haven't really seen many of these, so you don't really know. You can't really judge. But you did say you enjoyed it, so that's good, because this could have been really.
I'd watch it again.
You'd watch again. It's funny. Paul will watch Yeti again, but only if he makes somebody suffer for it because he did not like it. He really hated it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. This one is fun. Yeti was not the greatest. But like I think this one had yeah, I'd watch it again. It's cute. I really like Claire. I really did. I like her. She pulled on my heartstrings at times, or whatever. And um then there's Hampton, which I've never heard that as a name before in my life, but all right. She was sweet, but you really didn't get, other than seeing her in the and she didn't believe anybody in the town kind of thing. Like she was supposed to be like Adrienne Barbeau in The Fog, where she's the the town DJ or whatever that's telling us stuff about what's going on with the town and everything. But it would have been cooler if she knew more information about the Wyvern, or whatever. You know what I mean? So, um, did you? So did you like the special effects and the visual of the Wyvern itself?
I did. I thought they were really well done.
You
It
did?
didn't. I didn't think it looked cheesy at all, really.
Trust me, I've seen cheesier dragons in movies. This one was actually pretty decent looking. I mean, I think most of the budget actually went into the visual effects for
Right.
it, because looking at the cast, usually there's a really big name cast member, right? Somebody who's been in like a million movies or does these things, or somebody who's been a big hit at one point, and they did not do that. So it seems like they spent their budget on the dragon itself and some of the deaths, which were pretty cool. But then, especially the ending where he falls off into the cliff and falls off the cliff and dies. I thought that was pretty cool. It was a pretty neat way to kill something, have him get stuck in a fucking window, which I just like, I was watching that going, I had to rewind it. I was like, I have never seen that. Like, this was just remarkable to me. I had a fun time with it.
Yeah.
So all in all, I thought it was a cute little movie. Would you agree?
I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I said, I'd watch it again.
good. So we recommend this movie. If you want to go check it out, I think I got this movie for like $3 at Big Lots, and they've got like packages of Maneaters. You can probably get Wyvern in a packet of like 6 or 9 of the Maneaters movies or whatever. So, or you can just get it solo like I did for $3.
It's on Tubi.
It's on Tubi. That's true. It's on Amazon Prime, I think.
Tubi's free though.
It's true. And if you have Amazon Prime, you don't have to watch the commercials.
Yeah, those commercials drive me nuts.
Yeah. Do you have Amazon Prime or no?
No, I'm too cheap.
Okay. Well, I'm just asking because, otherwise I'd send, because I always tell you Tubi because it's free and you can have it. But if a movie's like I said, if it's on Prime, I'll watch it on Prime rather, because I'd rather watch it without the commercials.
Right.
Commercials drive me nuts. There's like, it starts with 1, then it goes to 2, then it always, it gets up to like 5, and I'm like, oh my God, can we?
And they're all 30 seconds long.
They're actually sometimes they're longer, Oh, yeah, if they're 30 seconds, you're right. They're 30 seconds long each. So if there are 5 of them, it's like, oh man, I just want this movie to be over, no matter what it is. So yeah, or if we watched one recently, can't say what it is, but me and a friend of mine watched one up in Las Vegas that was like on Tubi, and Tubi like kept freezing and having problems. So what was an hour and 8 minutes long turned out to be like 2 hours and 8 minutes long, like an extra hour just getting through all the commercial / other stuff that,
Right.
slowness. Oh, drives me nuts. But anyway, thank you so much, Liz. I'm definitely gonna have you back for another show if you're down with it. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Seem to like this stuff. Is there anything you'd like to mention, throw out? Anything you've been doing? Any
Mm,
projects you've been a part of, or
I've got a feature film that's going to be shooting in Atlanta next month. So it
in
kind of
May?
just, yeah, it just kind of fell into my lap somehow.
That's actually when this is going to be out. This will be out in May 15th. So
Awesome.
maybe around the time you're actually shooting your next movie. So that's awesome. But yeah, no, that's great. I'm excited for you. You know, you got
Thank
a lot
you.
of stuff going on. We just did an interview that'll be out May 3rd. So everybody check that out. It should already be out by this time this is out. So you're busy, you know, you got lots of stuff going on, and I'm excited to see what else you do. And once again, you'll be back again in Indie Film Cafe talking about something. You know, we'll have you doing another review somewhere. So but also I think your Quick Review Thursday comes out this Thursday. Yeah. I think there's this Thursday or next Thursday. Might be next Thursday. It's like the fourth Thursday. So whatever that is. I don't
Yeah, probably next Thursday.
something like that. Um but anyway, that's about it. If you guys have any questions or concerns, please comment. Let us know what you guys think. If you guys like this movie, let us know. If you did not like this movie, please let us know because we want to know why. We enjoyed it. If and So check out indiefilmcafe.reviews, indiefilmcafe.podbean.com, sickflickproductions.com, and patreon.com/indiefilmcafe, because you know, if you guys give us $1, we can keep making these things, you know. So that's all we need. It's just $1. We can keep doing what we're doing. So thank you guys for checking this out and have a good one. Bye.